Welcome to Raking Sports, and we are here to discuss NFL Week 12. Now, I'm not going to have all the games in this recap because I did all the Thanksgiving Day games in one video. I did the Bucks-Colts game in one game because somebody asked me to do that one, which I was happily to do because, that game itself could have been a whole video. I already did Sunday Night Football, and then obviously Monday Night Football is going to be in a separate video. But these are just the rest of the games that I have not discussed yet that I feel like would be fun to talk about. So let's just get started with the first one. You had the Bengals defeating the Steelers 41-10, and that was just bad. There was nothing good about that. Big Ben legit needs to retire. That game, not only was it a pathetic display on defense, that was just a sad display on offense. That was hard to watch, and I'm not even a Steelers fan. I'm not a Bengals fan either. I like Joe Burrow. I like some of the guys that are on the Bengals because I think they're good players. But that was a really, really bad display of football for the Steelers on all phases of that game. They were really, really bad. Big Ben threw 2 interceptions. One was a pick six to end the first half. The Steelers' defense is just completely falling apart. They were supposed to have a top defense, and it was just completely bad. It was bad 2 weeks in a row. Last week against the Chargers and this week against the Bengals. That was an awful display of football. Big Ben looked terrible. There's no way he's coming back. There is absolutely no way. I feel like that the Steelers front office has got to do something. Where they either cut him or trade him, something. There is no way Big Ben is going to stay with the Steelers. There's no excuse to have him there anymore. There's really not. That was awful and terrible. He looked slow. It was just sad. And that Bengals defense was they looked elite on both sides. That defense completely dominated the Steelers. It was not pretty at all. The Steelers stink. They're really, really bad. They're about to go 8-1, preserve the Mike Tomlin 500 record, never having a season below 500. And then they've got to move on from Big Ben and a lot of people because that offense looked terrible. Big Ben looked terrible. Defense looked bad. There was nothing good the Steelers did. Now, the Bengals, they looked elite on both sides of the ball. They really did. On one of the touchdown runs by Joe Burrow, he legit looked like Superman. Joe Mixon had a career day, 165 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. T. Higgins looked great. Like I mentioned, the Steelers are a dead football team right now. And then at the end of the game, after a touchdown, the Bengals were just dancing all over them. Steelers need a quarterback. They need something. And this is the first time that the Bengals swept the Steelers, I think since 2009 is what I was seeing. So yeah, the Bengals were really good. Steelers stink. Joe Mixon had a career day. Joe Burrow looked good. This Bengals team is going to make the playoffs. They could win a playoff game, how weird this season's been. The AFC North, it's not going to come down between the Steelers and Browns anymore. The way the Ravens played, I think the Bengals, honestly, this is maybe a long shot. The Bengals might have a chance to win their division. They really do. Like the way they've been playing recently, I think the Bengals have a long shot chance of winning their division. They're going to make the playoffs, but they have a long shot chance of winning their division. The next game, we had the Dolphins just dominating the Panthers 33-10. Cam Newton was absolutely terrible. He got benched in this game. He went 5 for 21, 92 yards, and 2 interceptions. Like I said, I made many videos. I like Cam Newton. His energy is great. It's fun to watch. But he did not play well at all. He was terrible. He played really bad last year in New England. And then in this game, most of his passing yards came on one play on his touch. I think it was a touchdown. I could be wrong. I think I'm wrong on that. I don't think it was a touchdown. But most of his passing yards, like 64 of them, of his 92 came on one play. The Panthers just looked bad. I was hyped. I was glad to see Cam Newton back. I probably should have seen this coming for how poorly he played in New England last year. Like, yeah, he did get COVID, and that may have set him back a little bit, but, like, this was just a bad display. This was terrible. This was really, really bad, and I feel so bad for Cam because he seems like a nice guy. He seems like he loves this game, but he was so bad. He said there was not 32 quarterbacks better than him. Well, I'm pretty sure there are because he got benched for one of them. So, the Panthers, this may be far-fetched, but I think the Panthers are a quarterback away from being a good football team. They really are. Sam Darnold didn't work. P.J. Walker's not the answer, and Cam coming back just seemed like a last-ditch effort because they were desperate for something. So they're a quarterback away. They have an elite defense, but that defense got completely eaten alive. That defense that's supposed to be good got eaten alive by Tua, who looked fantastic. And I'm glad I didn't give up on Tua, because there was something about Tua, the way he played, that I could never once say he sucked, whether it be him always being injured, because, injuries suck, you can't control that, whether it be him always getting benched last year for Ryan Fitzpatrick, never got a chance to fully develop and play well, or him coming in earlier this season against the Ravens and putting up a really good second half. There was something about Tua that I could never give up on him. And maybe as a Chiefs fan, that game where he threw for over 300 yards absolutely torched the defense in the game the Chiefs played close against Miami last year. Seeing every snap of that game from him, there is something about Tua where I could not give up on him. I think Tua's good. I think he has potential to be great in this league. I really, really do. The Dolphins seem to hit their stride because they've won like 4 or 5 games in a row. The Dolphins look really good. In all honesty, if they can somehow win out and go, 9 or 10-7, they could win out and make the playoffs. They really could. That defense is playing great. Tua's looking really good. Like I said, Jalen Waddle from Alabama, he had a monster game. He's looking really good. The Dolphins, even if they don't do something, because I know last year was supposed to be their building block to this year. Things happen. You have an off year after 1 year. This could be a sophomore slump for everybody. I know you can't really call a sophomore slump. These aren't rookies, but you get what I'm saying. They had a good year after being terrible for so many years. They're having a really good season now, or a really good season last year. They kind of took a step back at the beginning of the year, but they look like they hit their stride. They're only going to get one more year. If they play poorly next year, this Dolphins team is going to be imploded and things are going to change. But if they can build off of what they've been the last month and a half into next season, the Dolphins legit can be a contender in their division. And if not in their division, because you'll see here in a minute, the Patriots, they're completely back. But there's something about the Dolphins that I really like. I like Tua. Defense is playing well. They legit next year, if they don't regress again, and play poorly for the first half of the season, they might actually be a team that can compete in the future for playoff spots with Tua as their quarterback. Because Tua looked really good. I'm a fan of Tua. Next game, there was really not much from it. The Giants defeated the Eagles 13-7. Jalen Hurts, the Eagles look absolutely terrible. They played down to the competition, the Giants, for some reason. I don't know why. When they've been playing at a really good level recently, the Eagles just completely fell apart. Looking really good against the Broncos and the Saints. And I understand the Giants are a divisional opponent, but I just feel like that's inexcusable for what the Giants are going through. Having to fire Jason Garrett, then having Freddie Kitchens as their offensive coordinator. I just feel like there's no excuse for how bad they play. Jalen Hurts looks, like I said, he looked bad. 3 interceptions. They completely forgot about Miles Sanders. Eagles Twitter was absolutely going insane over that, and I understand completely. And it's not like the Giants played well at all. They were pretty bad too. But if you look at these teams, the Eagles are the absolute definition of a 500 team. I know technically it's not possible unless you have at least one tie. And the Giants are somehow 1 game back of the final wild card spot. And this addition to an extra game and this extra playoff spot, I feel like is really going to shake up the playoffs to one. I feel like one point we're going to have a team that goes 8-9, make the playoffs, and somehow win the Super Bowl. Like the way this system is set up, we're about to have a team like that possibly win the Super Bowl in the future. And there's going to be a lot of butthurt people because if it would have stayed at 6 and 16 games, 6 teams, 16 games, it would have never happened. But these two teams, they're bad. The Eagles had a chance to tie the game at the end, completely missed their receivers. These teams suck. And let's get to the next one. Next, you have the Patriots just dominating the Titans, 36-13. Yeah, the Patriots are all the way back. Mac Jones, that Pats offense, just picked apart the Titans defense, who is supposed to be good. Yes, I get a lot of crap on this on Twitter for this take, but I don't know if I understand what people are saying, that the Titans are injured to hell and back. But what I'm saying is the Titans offense relies wholeheartedly around Derrick Henry. I really don't think it matters who the receivers are. If Derrick Henry is not playing well, or if he's not there, obviously, right now, their offense is dead in the water. That entire offense relies around Derrick Henry establishing the run, play action, getting it to the receiver. I really don't think it matters who the receivers are in this offense if Derrick Henry's there. But now that Derrick Henry's out, obviously 2 great receivers, A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, are not playing. That sets the team back, but I feel like Derrick Henry himself is the Titans offense, and with him not there, that puts them in a bad spot no matter who the receivers are, because Ryan Tannehill has looked bad ever since that Rams game. I've been saying it. This Titans offense has not looked good since Derrick Henry went out. And I get it. They're his best player. That's obvious. I'm not going to deny that. But they have looked bad since he's been out. And they're not going to sustain anything with that. And yeah, they went from a first place seed in the AFC to possibly a 4 seed. And if the Colts can stop being stupid, they may even be in contention to lose the spot in their division. But if you look at the Patriots in this game, they are an absolute elite defense. Their defense is a turnover machine. You have Mac Jones on offense playing better and better and better each week. He literally looks like he's progressing 3 games every week. Like, he has looked so good recently, and I'm a huge fan of it. I love every second of watching Mac Jones play. It's just so great to watch Mac Jones. And there's another take. I was mentioning it with the Cam Newton thing. I don't think the Patriots were ever gone. I really don't. Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time, and even the greatest coach of all time, it does not matter how great he is. If the talent is not there, you cannot be a good football team. And it's no hate towards Cam, because I'm a big fan of Cam Newton as a person. You know, obviously he makes mistakes. Everybody does. But I think Cam Newton was holding back that Patriots team. And seeing Mac Jones come in, a guy that Bill Belichick obviously likes a lot, I don't think that the Patriots were gone. I think it was the talent that they had. Now, this offseason, Bill just went crazy in free agency, signed everybody he could, spent like $100 million on people. Like, they went all out, and it's starting to pay off. And this may be a hot take, but after this season, we may not actually know who won the Tom Brady-Bill Belichick divorce. We might not. Maybe a hot take, but we may not know, because the way that Mac Jones has been playing, stepping up every week, playing better every week. Last year was just a bad season for everybody. The talent wasn't there for the Patriots. Bill Belichick is coaching up a rookie quarterback who is progressing every week, looking really good. You know, the Patriots have now won 6 games in a row. They have the best point differential in the NFL. Obviously, the best rookie quarterback. The Patriots might honestly be one of, if not the best teams in the AFC or football. Now, you could argue with the Packers and Cardinals in the NFC, fine. But in the AFC, there's like 3 teams. You have the Bills, Chiefs, Patriots, maybe another team in there that are the best. But the Patriots, they have to be in contention for possibly being the 1 seed now. They really do. So the Patriots are all the way back. I can't believe I'm rooting for them, because they put the NFL through 20 years of hell. But for some reason, there's just something about this team. And I guess it's me appreciating Bill Belichick even more, because I'm appreciating Tom Brady down in Tampa too. But there's just something about Bill that I love. I'm loving watching the Patriots. Like I said, they've won 6 games in a row. And, you know, that was great. Just a few final notes from this game. Mike Vrabel had to challenge a touchdown that should have never been challenged. I don't know how they didn't call that a touchdown. That's beyond me. These refs this year have been so god-awful that they either need to become full-time employees or they need to find new people. And on a Kendrick Bourne touchdown, I think the Titans completely forgot how to tackle. But yeah, the Patriots are back, and I'm loving every second of Tom Brady playing in Tampa Bay, and I'm loving every second of Mac Jones and what the Patriots are doing. Dominant defense, great special teams, very efficient, good offense that is actually starting to make more and more big throws every week. Next game, we had the Falcons and Jaguars. Falcons won 21-14. There's not much to say from these next 2 games. It's the Texans-Jets game. The Jets won that one 21-14. Cordell Patterson's obviously the most important piece of that Falcons offense. They really missed him when he was out. And he can do absolutely everything. Run, catch. Like, he's become, like, him and Debo are slowly becoming really great talent. Well, not becoming. They are great, utility players that can do everything on offense. The Texans-Jets game, Zach Wilson threw a bad interception. That looked completely terrible. Bounced it off his receiver or his running back's back, and then it was intercepted by the Texans. Tyrod Taylor threw a big man interception. Don't really care to talk much about this game. It really stinks. Congrats to the Jets. Both of these teams suck. Next, we have the Chargers-Broncos. Broncos won 28-13. The Chargers, I feel like they're charging again. They're so inconsistent. They're finally getting over that hump where they're winning close games, but then instead of, like, they win the close games, but then they're regressing the next week and then just getting blown out and playing poorly. They're, Justin Herbert, I'm a fan of his, hasn't been playing very well. They They played great against the Steelers, nothing against the Broncos. Justin Herbert threw 2 interceptions to Patrick Surtain, who is a really, really, really good defensive player. Threw a pick 6 to him. I'm a huge fan of a lot of those guys on the Chargers offense. Yeah, I'm a Chiefs fan. I don't care. I'm a hardcore Chiefs fan. I can still love football. I love football. I will say that till I'm blue in the face. I love football. But yeah, I love Justin Herbert. But the defense of the Chargers is so freaking bad. Their run defense is god-awful. Teddy Bridgewater obviously is probably not going to be there next year. Drew Lock had to come in. You know, he's just as bad as he always was. And yeah, the Chargers, really inconsistent. Broncos, you know, they're still in contention for a playoff spot. The AFC West, you know, every team I think is above 500, but I think the Chiefs are about to just go on a run and just take over. You know, they're off a bye. The Chiefs are on a bye week. They're going to come off of that fresh, ready to go. They're going to make a huge run. Could honestly finish the season 13-4, get that number 1 seed, and everything runs through Arrowhead. But yeah, that was the Broncos Chargers game. I like the Chargers. I like Justin Herbert. They're so inconsistent. I'm not a fan of the Broncos. I just don't think they're very good. I think the Chargers are much better than the Broncos, but this game did not show that. Chargers played poorly. Next, you have the Vikings and 49ers. 49ers won 34-26. The moral of the story of this game, Kirk Cousins lined up under the wrong person. I think Kirk Cousins is having a really good season. I really do. They have too much talent on offense to be a bad football team, but for some reason they constantly are bad. They fumbled the ball, threw an interception, very untimely turnovers. It really sucks to see that because the Vikings have so much freaking talent, and I feel like they're wasting all of it. I don't know if it's their coach. I don't know if it's Kirk Cousins. Maybe it is Kirk Cousins because he makes really stupid decisions and plays sometimes. For the 49ers, you have Deebo Samuel, who's slowly becoming one of my favorite non-Chiefs in football. He's so electric. He can run, catch. He can do everything. The Vikings did have a kickoff return for a touchdown in this game. It was really sweet. You know, those are always fun to watch. I feel like the Vikings are much better than they should be. I think they're still in the playoff picture. I could be wrong. The 49ers could be in the playoff picture. You know, I think the 49ers, if they can keep rolling like they have been, I think they've won 3 in a row. So if they can keep rolling, you know, the 49ers are going to make a playoff spot. They're not going to win their division because I think the Cardinals probably have that locked up. And it's going to come down between them and the Rams for one of the playoff spot, even though probably both of those will make it in. And the final game for this week, we had the Packers defeating the Rams 36-28. Yeah, even on a broken toe, Aaron Rodgers could not be stopped. He looked really good, ran for a touchdown. You know, his broken toe didn't slow him down. Everything the Packers did look great. Offense, defense, their special teams actually almost blew the game. Like, you know, could have cost them the game. They only held them to the Rams to 3 points at that time because Randall Cobb muffed a punt. But the Packers receivers looked good. Cobb, Adams, both look really great. A.J. Dillon is such a beast as a running back position. It's really fun to watch him run because he could just move the pile whenever he wants to. But yeah, even with all the injuries, the Packers are levels ahead of everybody they're playing. They probably will. If they can win out, the Cardinals lose one game, they'll be the number 1 seed in football. But the Packers defense is great. Their offense is great. Their special teams, if they continue to do what they're doing on special teams, though, that's really going to cost them in the playoffs. So they've got to clean that up, or it's going to be a long playoff run for them because it's hard to come back in a playoff game when you're having mistakes like that. Matthew Stafford looked like Detroit Stafford again, fumbled, pick 6. And I mean, this is obvious. I know big plays swing the games, but the only 2 good plays that the Rams had all game were the long TDs to Van Jefferson and OBJ. So, like, you take away that, and I know, like, anybody can say that, but you kind of, if you look at the game as a whole, you look at 2 plays the Rams had versus every other play they had, that was about all they had. And it just feels like the Rams are getting worse and worse by the week. It really does. I just feel like they're regressing every single week, and it is not good. I don't know if it's an OBJ problem. Everywhere he goes, he gets worse. But, you know, you even have, I think it was Kareem Hunt's dad calling out Baker Mayfield now. So at this point, I don't know. Maybe at this point, everybody's bad. But that is my review of Week 12 and this NFL season. Thank you guys so much for watching. Give me your thoughts down below, and I will see you in the next one.